The drama begins with Vikage, a man who, when he was a child, lived through a fright that changed his life forever. He was at an amusement park with his mother, playing like any other child, until in a moment of carelessness, she disappeared into the crowd. He searched for her everywhere, ran from one ride to another, asked around, grew desperate. And the fear hit him so hard that he ended up fainting. After that, his grandfather took him to the doctor, and that is when the strange diagnosis came. Because of that trauma, Vikage developed prosopagnosia, a condition that prevents him from recognizing faces and telling people apart by their facial features. As the years go by, Vikage grows up and becomes a successful adult, with money, power, and an important company under his command. But his life is not as perfect as it seems. His condition makes him distrustful and tense, and on top of that, he has a difficult personality. He struggles to maintain relationships, gets irritated quickly, and often treats people coldly. By his side is Chainen, his cousin and trusted friend, the one who always ends up fixing what Vikage breaks with his temper. There is also an ambitious ant hovering around, always focused on gaining control of the company and never missing a chance to manipulate her own son and anyone else who suits her. Meanwhile, Mirren appears, a hard-working young woman who helps her mother deliver cakes. Even though she studied and is capable, life has not given her a break. Every time she tries to get into a real company, she gets rejected for one reason or another. At home, between comments from her mother and grandmother, Mirren feels that they see her as the unlucky one, and that pressure makes her decide that, in the next interview, she is going to give it everything she has, even if it is her last chance. The next day, Mirren gets ready and heads to Vikage's company. At that exact moment, in the office, Vikage is in the middle of one of his tantrums. His favorite chocolate drink does not arrive the way he wants it, and on top of that, he finds out that another secretary has quit or run away, just like several before. On impulse, Vikage moves the interview time forward so he can choose someone right away. The problem is that this change falls on the candidates and causes chaos. While Mirren is on her way, she gets the call. The interview has been moved to an earlier time. She panics and starts running. At reception, they say that everyone has arrived except one candidate. Chainen reviews the files, and when he sees Mirren's, he feels that at the very least she is worth waiting for a little longer. So he asks for a few more minutes. Mirren arrives at the limit, nervous, sweaty, and clumsy from rushing. She trips, gets confused with the papers, and that rough start already puts her in a horrible position. Vikage enters the room unable to recognize anyone by their face, but with the confidence of someone who believes the world owes him obedience. And as always, his first reaction is to attack. He makes nasty comments, criticizes her clothes, and humiliates her in front of everyone. What he does not expect is for Mirren not to stay silent. She defends herself, makes it clear that she arrived at the time she was originally told and that they were the ones who changed everything. She even demands respect and an apology. That hits Vikage like a kick to the ego. Right away, he tells her that she is rejected anyway, and that her look does not fit the position. But Mirren, with her pride hurt, decides to go further. She proves that she understands the business, mentions facts about the company, its history, and even details that the other candidates do not know. Her confidence surprises some people and infuriates Vikage, but it also makes him doubt. In the end, instead of throwing her out, he decides to test her. Vikage calls her into his office and calmly reviews her resume. There he notices something important. Mirren has an excellent memory, learns quickly, and on paper she is impeccable. So he hires her, but with conditions that seem more like punishments. That she change her attitude, her appearance, and the way she presents herself. When she tries to argue, he turns it into an order. To top it off, he gives her a huge stack of documents and demands that she memorize them exactly as they are. If she gets even one word wrong, she is fired. Mirren leaves outraged. Chainen catches up with her, tries to calm her down, and explains that Vikage is unbearable, yes, but that this job could save her life. He also tells her that if she holds on a little and adapts, she can truly earn the position. Chainen, with his calm style, convinces her to go buy suitable clothes. Between stores, hairstyle changes, and the pressure to look professional, Mirren begins to transform. In the process, she also becomes friends with Chainen, and he comes to know details of her life, including the issue of her name, which has a special story connected to her mother. When Mirren returns home with new clothes, her mother gets scared and thinks her daughter has gotten herself into trouble. Mirren explains that it is part of the job and that the company covered those expenses, at least during the trial period. The family gets excited, as if the bad streak had finally been broken. Mirren, however, knows that she still has not won. She is still on probation. That is why she spends the whole night memorizing the documents, reviewing them again and again, until she succeeds. The next day, Mirren arrives at the company with a completely different look. Chainin is impressed, not only by how she looks, but by the real effort she made. Vikage notices the change too, although he tries to act as if it does not matter. Right away, he puts her to the test with his obsession. He orders her to prepare his chocolate exactly the way he likes it, and warns her that if she fails, she is out. Nervous, Mirren prepares the drink. When Vikage tastes it, he freezes. For the first time, someone has made it perfectly. Not just similar, but exactly the way he has liked it since childhood. Vikage becomes obsessed with knowing how she did it. Mirren, to get out of the interrogation, mentions that her mother taught her. And that opens up a strange dynamic. Vikage feels that he cannot fire her so easily because she has something he does not want to lose. He even wants her to teach the recipe to all the service staff, but Mirren refuses. She also does not accept them buying the secret from her. That resistance irritates him, and he reacts as always, with threats and demands. Mirren vents to Chainin, saying that her boss is arrogant, capricious, and always treats everyone as if they were pieces on a board. Chainin asks her for patience. He has known Vikage for years and knows that behind that harshness there is constant fear. Not being able to trust anyone, not being able to recognize anyone, feeling alone even when surrounded by people. Mirren listens, but she does not justify him. She simply decides that, if she is going to stay, she will do it with limits. Shortly afterward, Vikage takes her to an important social event. He gives her a list of names and facts to memorize, because he needs her to tell him who is who while he greets people. He also sends her to an extremely expensive dress shop, the kind that seems impossible for someone like Mirren. When she tries on a dress, the impact is strong. Although Vikage does not trust his own perception of faces, he does perceive presence and elegance, and he gets caught in that sensation. Mirren, for her part, feels as though she is being used as a tool, but she gets ready anyway. At the event, Thanya appears, an attractive and confident woman who approaches Vikage with clear intentions. Thanya looks down on Mirren as if she were service staff and treats her with contempt. Mirren holds herself back, but she also responds with irony, drawing a line and making it clear that she is not there to endure free humiliation. In the middle of the event, Mirren loses sight of Vikage and goes looking for him. When she finally finds him, he gets furious, saying that she abandoned him knowing about his condition. The truth is that Vikage was panicking and tried to hide, as if he were a child again. Mirren gets angry too, because he was the one who disappeared first. The argument ends with Vikage throwing more orders at her as punishment. Then a key moment arrives. An important investor crosses Vikage's path. Mirren manages to identify her in time and helps keep Vikage from looking bad. Vikage lets her speak, and Mirren launches into an impeccable presentation of a project, reciting facts as if they were tattooed in her mind. The investor becomes interested, until Mirren, by saying things without any filter, ends up criticizing the jewelry business connected to the woman's family. That mistake breaks the mood. The investor feels exposed, gets upset, and leaves. Vikage explodes at Mirren. He humiliates her, blames her, and makes her feel as if all her effort is worth nothing. Chainin also gets fed up and argues with Vikage, warning him that if he keeps acting like this, no one is going to stay by his side. Hurt, Mirren leaves by herself. In a moment of emotional release, she ends up on a bridge, with no real intention of hurting herself, only wanting to scream and let everything out. Vikage sees her from a distance and, because of his past trauma, thinks she is about to jump. He runs desperately, stops her, and freezes when he hears that what she was doing was simply exploding from stress. Then something strange happens. Chainin calls Mirren by her full name, and when Vikage hears it, he becomes uneasy. That name sounds like something old, something that touches a nerve. Mirren leaves anyway, making it clear that she is no one's property and that she will decide for herself whether she stays or not. At home, Vikage's aunt pressures Chainin. She repeats that Vikage is using him, that he works like a mule for someone who does not even value him, and that the best thing would be to slowly take power away from him. Then, when she finds out Mirren's name, she begins to suspect something. Vikage's family has a hole in its history. The missing mother, the boy abandoned in a park, and a secret that no one tells in full. Mirren, feeling guilty for the disaster at the event, decides to try to fix the situation with a simple gesture. She bakes a cake for Vikage, as part of the work she does with her mother. But when she arrives at the office, she finds out that Vikage never showed up. No one knows where he is. She thinks, connects the dots, remembers details, and lands on the most obvious answer: the amusement park. She goes there and finds him sitting alone, staring into nothing. Vikage is surprised that she went looking for him. Even though he hides it, it is obvious that it affects him. Mirren asks why he always returns to that place, and he ends up telling her about his wound. That was where his mother left him, and since then, every time he feels overwhelmed, he returns there as if the place were both his refuge and his punishment. Mirren does not judge him. Instead, she decides to stay with him and, without realizing it, begins to build a real bond. For the first time, Vikage stops acting like the boss for a while and appears as someone vulnerable. That day they spend time together. Vikage even asks her to accompany him to a meeting where Thanya will be, as if he needed her presence to feel safe. At the restaurant, Thanya tries once again to humiliate Mirren, but Mirren responds better, with more control, and Vikage even joins in with humor, as if he enjoys seeing her stand her ground. Later, Mirren takes Vikage to her house to make him a cake. But the scene gets out of control. Her mother and grandmother see him and, in seconds, start imagining marriage, a good match, and family pressure. Vikage gets startled and runs away, leaving Mirren embarrassed. In that same situation, Mirren mentions Vikage's name and it becomes clear that her mother reacts strangely, as if she knows him. And that is where the story starts pulling on the thread. It is revealed that Vikage's mother did not leave because she wanted to. She had discovered that she had Alzheimer's and felt afraid that her son would grow up watching her lose herself. During that time, she sought out Mirren's mother, her close friend, and asked her to keep a secret. Not to say where she was, not to reveal her condition, to protect the boy from that burden. Over the years, that secret turned into a bomb. For reasons even she herself does not fully control, Mirren begins visiting Vikage's mother at a church, bringing her food or cake, talking to her, trying to keep her from being alone. One day she tells her that Vikage himself baked a cake, and the woman becomes emotional, but she also becomes unwell. It is obvious that her illness is advanced and that, because of that, she ran from the past. While all of this is happening, the company enters a state of tension. Vikage's aunt takes advantage of any mistake to blame him, take projects away from him, and promote Chainin. Fed up, Vikage decides to prove that he can do better. He becomes obsessed with closing a deal with a difficult investor, Noi, an older woman whom many consider impossible to locate. Vikage and Mirren go out looking for Noi. They walk through parks, ask questions, and follow clues. They even mistake an elderly man for the person they are looking for and end up in a huge, ridiculous situation. Mirren, instead of making fun of him, stays firm and pushes him not to give up. At home, Mirren realizes something. Her mother had asked her to take cake to a neighbor, and in that house she hears the name Noi. That is when it clicks. That neighbor is the investor. Mirren rushes to speak with Noi, presents the project to her, insists respectfully, and manages to get a meeting. Vikage arrives excited, explains his application, and Noi cuts him off coldly, saying that young people do not understand real suffering. Without meaning to, Vikage ends up opening up. He reveals that his application is born from his own need, from a condition that limits him, and from a desire to help others who feel lost, like him. That breaks something in Noi. She is moved and decides to give him a chance. Mirren feels proud, but she also starts thinking about something sad. Her mission was to help him and then leave, so as not to get trapped in a family and business mess. She even suggests a device to Vikage that helps him detect emotions, as a method to compensate for his difficulty with faces. Vikage receives it with sincere gratitude, and that gratitude disarms her. But Thanya notices how close they are becoming and turns dangerous. She threatens Mirren with ruining her future, with causing a scandal so that no one will hire her. Mirren breaks down inside, goes up to a rooftop to breathe, and for the first time Chainin finds her like that and comforts her. In one moment, Chainin almost confesses what he feels for her, because yes, he too has been falling in love. But just then Vikage appears and takes her away, as if he did not want anyone else to touch her. At the company, Vikage proposes new projects, including one to help find missing people, but that is where the real reason explodes. He wants to find his mother. In an argument, Vikage admits it in front of everyone. Chainin reminds him that he cannot mix trauma with business. Vikage gets furious and throws out words that hurt Mirren, as if she could not understand his pain. Mirren leaves crying, and Vikage regrets it. To calm her and, in the process, calm himself, Vikage takes her to the park again. There he realizes something. Ever since Mirren arrived, his life started moving, people stopped running away from him so much, and he feels less alone. He is about to open his heart, when Mirren disappears. That abandonment triggers panic in him. He looks for her like crazy, reliving the day he lost his mother. The next day, at the office, Vikage is handed a resignation letter. Mirren has left. He loses his composure, goes out to look for her, and Chainin joins in. After searching several places, Vikage finds her in a spot where she once said she went when she was sad. He does not understand why she left and promises her anything if she comes back. Mirren cries, but feels that she cannot continue, because there is still a huge lie she has not let go of. Meanwhile, Vikage's aunt gets a report. She discovers that Mirren applied many times and was only accepted when she changed her name. She also discovers that Mirren visits a church to see an elderly woman. When she sees that woman's photo, she understands everything. It is Vikage's missing mother. The aunt decides to use that information to destroy them. Desperate not to lose Mirren, Vikage confesses that he feels something for her. Frightened, Mirren tries to say that they come from different worlds, but still agrees to return, on one condition. In 1 week she will tell him the whole truth. Vikage, in love and anxious, watches over her as if he is afraid she will slip away again. Thanya and the aunt pressure Chainin. They fill his head with toxic ideas, telling him that Vikage does not value him, that Mirren is a danger, and that this is the chance to take the throne from him. Confused, Chainin ends up collaborating without realizing the monster they are feeding. Then chaos explodes. During an important meeting, Chainin shows up presenting in Vikage's place. Mirren runs to the office and finds Vikage out of control, holding a photo in his hand. Since he cannot recognize faces, he only sees Mirren beside a woman. Vikage feels betrayed. In a burst of emotion, he reacts badly, frightens Mirren, and demands answers. Mirren understands there is no escape and confesses that woman is his mother. Vikage falls apart. He leaves the company and goes away. Thanya tries to take advantage and offer him comfort in exchange for a relationship, but he rejects her angrily. Then he runs to the church. He arrives before the aunt can manage to capture his mother. When he sees her, the blow is brutal. She does not recognize him, and he also cannot read her face clearly. She, because of Alzheimer's, is lost. He understands that his mother did not abandon him out of lack of love, but out of fear and manipulation. Vikage decides to take care of her, no matter how late it may be. At the company, Chainin takes power. Mirren confronts him, pointing out that he is taking advantage of Vikage's worst moment. Chainin defends himself by saying that he too broke himself working for years, that he was already tired of being second. Mirren sees his pain, but she does not justify his ambition. While trying to help his mother remember, Vikage understands that there are objects and flavors that connect her to the past. That is why he asks Mirren to teach him the recipe for the chocolate his mother used to make when he was a child. Mirren helps him. During that time together, Mirren's mother also enters the picture and, even though the secret pains her, she asks Vikage not to give up on his life or his company. In an unexpected moment, Vikage's mother escapes and appears in a garden. There, for an instant, she sees Vikage and recognizes him. She runs to hug him, as if time had turned back. That emotional shock causes another miracle. Vikage's condition begins to improve and, for the first time in his adult life, he can see facial features clearly. He cries, gives thanks, hugs Mirren, and feels that, at last, he is recovering something that was stolen from him. With his mother at home and a doctor helping her, Vikage decides to return to the company. But Thanya has already bought shares and wants to take control. A nighttime meeting is arranged to push Vikage aside. He appears, faces everyone, proves that he is not alone, and takes back his position. The aunt and Thanya lose a battle, but not the war. Obsessed, Thanya keeps looking for ways to destroy Mirren. Chainin, full of guilt, tries to get out of the dirty game, but he is already trapped. And then the biggest disaster happens. Someone leaks user data and sinks the company's reputation. The shares collapse, the clients are furious, and the press attacks. To protect his people, Vikage announces that he will resign, but demands a full investigation. At a conference, Vikage leaves the position to Chainin, and Thanya takes advantage to declare herself co-president because of the shares she bought. On top of that, she offers Vikage the chance to stay if he fires Mirren. He refuses. He would rather lose everything than betray her again. And that is when Mirren understands that his loyalty is no longer just work, but a choice. Mirren understands that Thanya and the aunt are the real problem. Noi, the investor, also realizes it and decides to support Vikage from the outside, connecting him with new opportunities. At the same time, Vikage's mother, during moments of lucidity, reveals the full truth. The aunt threatened her, pressured her, and forced her to disappear so that the aunt's son would not end up below in the business inheritance. That fear broke her and pushed her to run away. The investigation moves forward. Thanya tries to manipulate shareholders, convince them that she will save the company, and uses the chaos to gain votes. But Chainin, now regretful, joins Vikage. Both of them, for the grandfather's well-being, decide to put pride aside. In the middle of the tension, The grandfather suffers a heart attack and ends up in the hospital. That blow forces them to react like family, not like rivals. With evidence in hand, they hold a public meeting. Vikage explains the truth, shows proof, dismantles the scheme, and leaves Thanya exposed in front of everyone. Thanya falls into despair when her world turns upside down, because her mask breaks and people understand that she was responsible for the disaster. With that, the company is saved and stabilizes again. The ant, seeing that she can no longer control anything, collapses. Vikage, instead of seeking endless revenge, decides to give her a chance to redeem herself. Burdened with guilt, she ends up apologizing to Vikage's mother and helping her move back to live near her son. Chainen, for his part, accepts his mistakes and reconciles with Vikage as a brother in life, not as a shadow. With the chaos resolved, Vikage finally allows himself to live without that knot in his throat. He thanks Mirren for not giving up, for standing up to him when he was unbearable, and for staying when everyone else left. Mirren also learns to stop seeing herself as the unlucky one, and understands that her worth never depended on the opinion of an interview. In the end, Vikage decides to close the circle. With his mother safe, his company stable, and the truth on the table, he asks Mirren to stay by his side officially. She accepts, no longer afraid of Thanya, no longer afraid of what people will say, and with the certainty that love is not based on perfect faces, but on the real presence of someone who does not let go when everything falls apart. From the very beginning, it is clear that the company lives in constant tension. People in the office respect Vikage, but they also fear him, because his mood changes in seconds. Since he cannot recognize faces, he is guided by tiny details. A tone of voice, a perfume, a way of walking, even the sound of heels. That same problem makes him feel exposed. Sometimes, when someone speaks to him with too much confidence, he suspects they are deceiving him, and to protect himself he ends up being harsher than necessary. That is why his secretaries do not last long. It is not just the job, it is the cold environment and the pressure of not making a single mistake. Mirren enters that world with the disadvantage of not coming from a powerful family. She feels that they look at her as if she does not belong, and that is why, when Vikage forces her to change her image, she experiences it as a humiliation, but also as a bitter lesson about how that place works. Instead of breaking down, she decides to use it to her advantage. She starts arriving earlier, writes everything down, learns the schedules, and gets used to reading the atmosphere in order to anticipate outbursts. That, without meaning to, turns her into the filter the team needed. Even employees who used to avoid Vikage start getting closer, because with Mirren nearby, he controls himself a little more. Chainen sees that change from the inside. As Vikage's cousin and right-hand man, he always carried the company whenever the other man got distracted by his own chaos. That is why his mother, who hates seeing her son working for someone else without recognition, pressures him with poisonous ideas. She keeps telling him that Vikage does not change, that he only uses people, and that Chainen deserves a real place in the company. Chainen tries to ignore her, but when he sees that Mirren becomes someone important to Vikage, his mind fills with questions. If he, who was always there, never received that kind of attention, why did she? That mixture of genuine affection, jealousy, and exhaustion plants the triangle that later explodes. It is also clear that Mirren, even though she appears firm, is learning through hard knocks on the inside. At the event where she ruins the negotiation by speaking without a filter, she realizes that it is not enough to be intelligent. You have to know when to stay quiet, when to soften things, and when to wait. She does not change her essence, but she does begin choosing her words better. That growth can be seen when Thanya tries to belittle her. Mirren stops reacting with anger and learns to respond calmly, as if the other woman is the one exposing herself on her own. At the same time, the issue of the missing mother becomes a shadow that grows bigger and bigger. Mirren visits that woman at the church and, although she does not say it out loud, ends up fulfilling a role no one expected. She becomes the bridge between mother and son without either of them knowing it. There are days when the mother is sweet, recognizes her, asks her about recipes or simple things, and laughs as if the past carried no weight. But there are other days when she disconnects completely, gets scared, gets angry, or gets lost in memories that do not fit together. Mirren leaves there with a tight heart, because she understands that if Vikage arrives suddenly, he could be hurt by seeing that she does not even recognize him. That is why the data leak hits so hard. It is not just about reputation, it is about trust. Within hours, the company fills with complaints, the share value falls, and the partners look at Vikage as a risk. That is where his resignation makes sense. He feels that if he stays, everyone will pay the price for the blow, including Mirren. That departure, painful as it is, opens the door to an investigation that ends up pointing at Thanya. End of the drama.